Let's start with the price, shall we? On the Cobalt Kinetics AR15, a brand I've never reviewed in TMP ever. I think about 2 years ago, someone hit me up and they said they knew someone at CK and they wanted to get me some rifles for test and review. I think it was CK, Cobalt Kinetics, since it is in St. George, or I don't know, was in St. George. And how I run it in TMP is I don't really give any special consideration to Utah companies. Sorry. I'm talking about manufacturers of guns. I give everybody the same shot, the same level of publicity. That's just how I roll. I learned that early on, by the way, in TMP, and that is the right way to be. Just very impartial, hopefully very professional. So I said, thank you very much. I will look for a CK gun. I would prefer to get it not from the manufacturer, but from one of my associated helping me out gun stores. And such a thing happened with Handgun Haven a few months ago. So this gun was in the haul that HH got from that individual that had like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of guns. I'm saying hundreds of thousands. I didn't price them, but it was a lot. Some high-end pieces just like this one. So here we go. Thanks to Handgun Haven, Adam at Handgun Haven. Thank you so much for the loaner. This is a loaner. It's not my gun. We'll see if I would buy this thing as the bunker review progresses. And we are going to look at what is purported to be a very high-end AR15. And the question is, would you buy it? Would you buy it? I thought it'd be an interesting review. You guys probably saw on the B channel when I was going through the haul that Handgun Haven got from that individual. I saw this on the rack. I was like, it's interesting. I didn't really know too much about CK, basically nothing. I hadn't followed the brand. I'm not in the competition circles. I'm sure like JP, Cobalt Kinetics is probably known in 3-gun competition. I would surmise. I could be wrong. Let's start off the review, however, with the price. That's a good place to start, to ground the conversation here in the bunker, deep in the state of Wyoming. Here we go. Brace yourself. As far as I know, as far as I could ascertain, this is a Cobalt Kinetics Banff Team. That's the model, Team rifle. I'm not positive. I went to their website tonight, spent some time surfing around. I will mention that again. If you get a Team rifle in just basic black, this is a very cool Cerakoted gray version, but basic black will be $4,150. You heard me right. Over $4,000 for an AR-15. Okay, let me say this before you guys start typing furiously on the keyboard and hurting your little fingers. Don't hurt yourself. I'm all for companies doing whatever they want. If for instance, Sabenza in Idaho wants to charge $425 for a small Sabenza made out of titanium, I say more power to you, rock on. They got great marketing. I've ranted about this before. I'm all for it. It doesn't mean that I'm like digging that item particularly. I'm a value guy, but I'm for all these manufacturers doing what they do. If you want to produce a high-end AR-15 meant for competition circles, you can convince someone to part with $4,000 plus dollars. Rock on. And by the way, there's people that do this all day long. Witness this gun. This gun was not purchased, as far as I know, by a competitor. It was purchased by a collector. And as far as I could ascertain, once again, he never shot it. So it's like coming out of a time capsule. What year was this produced? I probably could have attempted to research, but I don't really care.
All hits.
I would probably say around 2016, 2017, be just a shot in the dark. Yeah, $4,150. If you put more upgrades on it, it's probably going to go in the stratosphere. You know, this isn't the only expensive brand I've reviewed. I have touched upon Christensen Arms, also a Utah company, and I've also given them some criticism for their pricing, albeit in terms of, hey, if you can convince people to buy your product at $6,000, I say rock on. But back to the point, here's a guy. This came out of his collection. He resold it to Handgun Haven. He loved the gun, obviously. He walked in and just bought it. Never competed with it. Probably never shot it, like I said. So if you say, oh, these guys aren't buying these guns, they are. That's my point. There's guys with tons and tons of money that buy this stuff all the time. Expensive knives, expensive watches, expensive guns. Speaking of which, my watch for this review, speaking of being a value guy, is a Timex. I'm sorry, not a Timex, a Casio. And this is, here it is right here. It is an MRW 210H for $33. What? That's not good enough? Come on, dudes. That's not good enough for this $4,000 AR15 review? Okay, just to make you happy, I'll put on my Breitling Super Ocean hands modded by myself. Here's a Breitling. I'll put links to Breitling below. I highly recommend you use them and go buy your Breitling of choice at Joma Shop. Prices are awesome. Yeah, so did some trades for this one. It's funny having it in the project, but I don't need a Breitling to make me happy. I don't need a $4,000 AR-15 to make me happy. It doesn't fulfill any special need or requirement I have. When Jardine and I were shooting this CK AR, again, I think it's a team model. It doesn't really matter because they're all the same gun. They're just outfitted a little bit differently in the furniture. We were saying, my voice cracking, we were saying that this is a gun that would, impress your buddies as you show up to a 3-gun. Now, I don't compete in that fashion. If I did, I would have to shut down the Nut and Fancy project. I wouldn't have time. And also, there's this other thing. I suck. So I would get dominated. So I don't compete. But from what I know about guys and from what I know about gear, and it is more than a little, guys really like their gear. And they really get off when there's something cool. So if they show up with their Cobalt Kinetics, Cerakoted in gray, highlighted in red, $4,000 plus AR-15, they're probably going to get some competition cred for it. And guys will just say, oh man, that's a nice ride. That is a nice gun, dude. And, between rounds, they'll be talking about guns and muzzle devices and handguards and triggers and optics. That does happen. I can pretty much guarantee you. So having a gun look cool
that red mag goes well
in those circles is probably pretty important. This gun, I will tell you, looks Klingon cool. It looks like a Klingon rifle with a sharp, angular muzzle device, handguard. We'll talk about the specifics here in a second, but we're going to flex into philosophy of use right now. What would you use this for? Why would you be willing to spend? And I have, by the way, $2,100 because I think that's what Handgun Haven's selling this for. So if you like this gun, call Handgun Haven and you're going to get it for half. If my information is correct, half of what it is worth. And like I said, it's brand new. And I didn't put that many rounds through it. I'll tell you why here. Yeah, so this looks like a Klingon rifle. It looks alien. That's what we said. It looks cool. The first thing you would buy this for is exactly what the owner that used to own this bought it for. He just liked how it looked. Never shot it. A lot of guys like that. I ran about it all the time. Is that how you and I roll? I'll say most TMPers do not have that level of money. They cannot just go out and throw 4K on an AR-15 they'll never shoot. It doesn't happen. The majority of my donors, for instance, of whom I know very well, I know their screen names, I know them in messaging a lot. It's a smaller community. It's a TMP clubhouse. That's what I call it. You should join and stay there forever. But I don't think those guys have a lot of money. And that's why when I do giveaways, by the way, if I see you have an apartment number on your giveaway win, or if you send me a knife to be engraved, I plus up on the stuff. I'm like, dude's living in an apartment. I give as much as I can to you until it hurts. Watches, knives. I don't have that much in stock right now. I need to restock. But that's just a little insight of how I run it. But those guys they're not loaded. They're super generous with me. I mean, they're donors. They give me $5 a month, which is all I ask. And but they're going to look at this, and you'll see them in comment. I'm My Patreon guys are awesome, and they'll comment and they'll go, yeah, there's no way. I'm not doing that. There are a couple in my donor community that have, well, I'll say it, millions. They're millionaires. And for them, popping 4K on this gun would be nothing. And good on them. I don't resent them. I say congratulations to you. Awesome. But the first philosophy of use is just a super cool, brag-capable AR-15 that you can take to your local range. You can shoot with your buddies. Or in the case of this user, you don't do anything at all with it, and maybe you just fondle it watching television. And then he ended up selling it. So he sold everything. From what I understand, he sold everything. Another philosophy of use is obvious, and that is competition rifle. You will see that even though it is expensive, this is a legitimate, competition-ready, durable, highly accurate AR-15. It is pretty much everything Cobalt Kinetics sells it as. The only thing you can really say is well, is it better than a $2,000 AR-15? This POF Renegade Gen 4 behind me, is it better than that? No, I shoot these things all the time at long range in dusty, dirty, snowy, wet, rainy conditions. I have a little bit of data to go by, and the answer is no. But it rises to the level of some of the better AR-15s I've shot from what I know about it now with some preliminary testing. So competition ready, durable rifle, yes. On the CK website, they're bragging that some of their owners, actual users of their CK rifles, their AR-15s, have put over 50,000 rounds through their guns, and they're still running hot, i.e. they're not breaking down. Looking inside this rifle, I don't doubt it. It's competition ready, nice gun, accurate. And one thing that's kind of nice about this, and I have mentioned this a little bit before, in a competition rifle, I don't know if you want an ultimately lightweight AR-15. You want that middle ground, according to my philosophy, which is flawed, no doubt. This is 7 pounds, 15 ounces, almost 8 pounds without any glass on it. It's billet. We'll visit that again, but that adds a lot of weight. But weight is stability. But what you don't want with a competition rifle is you don't want that weight to be unbalanced. You want the swing to be very quick. In my estimation, you want most of your weight to be right here in the center, and you want to be able to do really rapid transitions. But when that weight settles down, it helps you make that 600-yard shot on a small metal plate in your competition, or maybe a tiny plate at 300 yards. So in this philosophy of use, competition rifle, I wouldn't say this rifle is outlandishly heavy. As an SPR, in a special purpose rifle, philosophy of use, it's way too heavy for me. My SPRs, the ones that I've put together, as you can see in video form over the years, I'll say they weigh about 7 pounds. Maybe 7 pounds, 5 ounces with an 18-inch barrel. And so these things, my builds are very focused on weight savings whenever possible, but not at the expense of accuracy and reliability. Probably just like a lot of the ARs you guys have put together. But competition ready, absolutely. Without rule of law, sure, it'll function that way. I'd be super careful about where I'd put this gun because it looks different. It attracts attention. If you had it in a vehicle somewhere, it would be a high theft target. Does it look nasty as a without rule of law checkpoint rifle? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Like I said, it looks very alien, Klingon-like. And the rest of the POU is standard, as you can imagine. Let's go into features. I've got the muzzle in facing you right now. I looked it up, and they're calling this the Edge muzzle brake. This is a proprietary multi-hole muzzle brake by Cobalt Kinetics. It does work, and it is effing loud. I mean, it was super loud as we were shooting it. That's really no surprise. Any really effective, muzzle device is going to be loud from the side. To the shooter, not so much, but from the side, very loud. They also make another one, and it's called the Pro Brake, and that is really competition focused. It's 3.4 inches all hits long and heavier than this. This is made out of steel. I think this one, according to their specs, 2.5 inches, 2.6 ounces. It's effective, and it's got those very aggressive strike flutes at the muzzle. And let me say this about such flutes. I actually don't hate them. I think they're cool. They could be very effective in, a CQB situation. I have said that. Here's the way they really suck. When you're carrying around your gun, if it touches anything like drywall, car paint, even fabric, it will go through sometimes like a knife. If this touches a car door, you might, if you had an A2 cage, you're probably going to do some damage there. But this thing's going to gouge. And gun cases, it does not like. It will shred gun cases. You have to very carefully put in an aggressive muzzle device like this in. Otherwise, your gun case is going to go bye-bye, says Professor Nut and Fancy. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. So I have to put these on to say Professor. Don't put those glasses on, Nut, and we hate those glasses. You hate these glasses? These are cool. Okay, I won't wear them this review. It's going to be a glassless review. So effective muzzle brake, would I put something else on? If I bought this gun, hell no. I'm going to run it as it came. It's so expensive. You don't swap out components on this one, $2,000 rifle, $4,000 rifle. Go build your own. Or get something bare bones and change that. The Handguard, also put together by Cobalt Kinetics. And this is, I think, a 15-inch Handguard. And I love how they did the pick rail. Notice that it's thematically following the muzzle brake, so it has forward-facing strike flutes, if you want to call it that. Short Picatinny rails on the top and the bottom. So this can go bipod light, VG. This will go BUIS. You have Picatinny rail back here. Actually not on the Handguard, but on the receiver, which is a little bit strange. I would have thought they would have ran it right here. They didn't. The diameter is very small. I love that. It's M-LOK capable. Also Cerakoted in gray. By the way, gray is a great Cerakote color. It really is. It's multi-purpose. It doesn't look too military. It blends in very well in all types of different environments, in case you care. Nice lockup here on the barrel nut. We didn't have any twisting at all. I didn't really torque it that much, though. So nice handguard, and it's what I would expect on a competition-focused rifle, i.e. it's going very far up. On some of my builds, I will not go that far up. To what? Save weight, save ounces. I'll cut it back here. I do like a longer handguard because, like you, I sometimes will do a rope hold on this, and I just like to pull it into the shoulder pocket a little bit better. It seems like the handguard length is important to do that. Notice the barrel underneath. Stainless steel barrel. I did look for some information on the CK website. I didn't really see any specifics on it. I would suspect it's a 1-in-7 or 1-in-8 twist, 4/16 stainless. It might be a different stainless steel. I noted, excuse me, that this has a 10-inch gas system, so it's not quite a rifle-length gas system. Kind of weird. I did measure from the back of the chamber to basically the tap point right here, and that's 10 inches. That being said, it's perfect. I mean, that's what I would expect for a competition, soft shooting, fast follow-up shot, AR15. So I like it. I actually like the red and the gray. I think thematically they're very cool looking, for what it's worth. I think it's cool. I think that when this owner ordered this, incidentally, I think they went to the CK website, and it's just kind of, you order what you like. You drop it down on the menu, you add to cart, and then you charge $7,000 on your credit card. It could be, I don't know, I'm guessing, but it seems like these companies, Christensen Arms does the same thing. You order up, everything is an upcharge. Oh, you want wheels with that car? $2,000 extra dollars. I don't know if CK does that, but anyways, tonight, and I'm going to go back to this subject tonight, it seemed like it was a drag and drop, add to cart type thing, and then they ship it to your FFL. I love the profile on the barrel underneath. I measured this at 0.73 inches, I think, so that's perfect. I didn't take the handguard off because that's a waste of time. I didn't really care. Now, you can see this is a billet gun, and this is interesting. So I scrubbed CK's website, and they're saying they mill 70-75 aluminum. That's pretty interesting, actually. Usually, when you have billet, it's going to be a 6000 series aluminum, and this might contribute to their costs because milling, going off memory, 70-75 is expensive to do. It has a harder, stronger aluminum, and so your milling heads are going to wear more. They do it with this. This is a resulting product. It is an alien billet receiver. I still prefer forged, like I've said for so many reviews. But it ends up being very good looking, very strong, and kind of heavy, which in the POU I discussed makes some sense. We don't need this to be a 6-pound AR-15. I bet you the competitors who show up go, yeah, I don't want a 6-pound AR. I can't hold that thing steady. I need something that settles down. Please settle down. Here's a look in the Magwell. Enlarged trigger guard. And this really departs from mil spec, and this is what I've lauded forever. I love it when companies do this. POF does it too. They throw mil spec out the window. They're like, we're going to do what we do. We don't really give a crap about mil spec. The dust cover is definitely not mil spec. And the interesting about this is when you take down the gun, you need to like close this dust cover because it rotates so far it won't allow you to put the upper and lower receivers together. Small point. The trigger, I didn't really see any information on it, but it seems like an AR gold trigger. On the target I'm going to show you, I wrote that the trigger was not awesome. Let me caveat that. It's a really, really good trigger. Jardine absolutely loved it. But to me, it just didn't. This particular modular trigger, and I'm just guessing if it's AR gold, it might be a Timney. It just wasn't like amazing. And I think it's pulling around 3 pounds. We have a gunfighter, ambidextrous charging handle. I believe that did come on the gun. It's a smart choice. Those BCM gunfighter charging handles are amazing. And when you have glass on it like I do, it's really easy to charge the gun. There's my Aero Precision mount on here. I have a testing scope on it, and this scope is no longer available. So it's a Nikon, and you guys waited too long and you never bought one, so now they're done. They don't even make scopes anymore. That is so crappy. I cannot believe that. So it's a Nikon ProStaff 7 tester scope. It's just a super high value, great scope. That's what I did the testing with. Here's a look on this side. And maybe as I'm rotating this gun, you've noticed something very, very strange about the Cobalt Kinetics Banff AR-15. Have you noticed that it has 2 forward assists? Here's the funny part. So I was shooting it. I didn't really pay attention. I did not because I'm focused on other things. Target performance, is it being reliable? And then later on I noticed, wait a second, this thing's got 2 forward assists. And the thing that CK did with this is super, super cool. And they call it the dual drop bolt control system. And you can use your thumb on either side, or any finger for that matter, to release the bolt. You put a new mag in, just push either one of these and click, it loads up. That, my friends, is super cool. Does it add more weight and complexity to the gun? Yes. I've always said that a forward assist in a modern AR-15 is not needed. It's just more weight. But they're not using it as a forward assist. They're using it as a bolt closing mechanism, and I'm all for that. That is super cool. I really liked it. So that's cool. And this is a great ambidextrous rifle. So Jardine liked it, although it's ejecting to the right. I don't think they make a dedicated ejection left AR-15, but it's cool. Something not so cool, this is just my preference, is I don't like 45-degree safety levers. I hate them. I like a standard 90-degree throw. Every time I run one of these, it's so different from all the other ARs I shoot. I'm always doing this. I'm clicking. Ambidextrous also. Magazine release, you can see it. Big old magazine release paddle on there. Here's a look at this side. You can see the stepped milling on that. Very good looking. It is a good looking billet receiver of the Cobalt Kinetics. Another thing I found out, and I didn't know this when I tested this gun, they also have something called the CARS feature. And what it is when the bolt locks open, the magazine automatically drops. What the hell? Yeah. I don't think I saw that on this gun, and I don't know if every CK rifle is equipped with that, but you might want to delve into that. So apparently you just, it locks open on an empty mag. It falls free. That, again, by the way, is competition focused. That I don't think would be a very good thing in a tactical AR-15. I'll say that again. I would not want that feature in a tactical AR-15. But in a CK rifle, competition, microseconds count. They mean the difference between you going to a podium finish and sitting on the sideline eating a hot dog and nobody pays any attention to you. Yes, I've traveled that road. I know exactly what that road is like. We have a fixed billet stock back here, and they call this, what do they call this? Well, it's a fixed billet stock. They have a name for everything. It's just basically a rifle length extension tube, also covered in that very cool red polymer, and it's milled out, as you can see. And they don't really have a name for this. It's just a fixed billet stock. 17 ounces is what they're saying, and on their website they were selling it for like $280. I didn't really measure the length of pull. I don't like how it's slick back here. It is beveled very nicely, and a competitor could easily put his favorite traction material back here. So that's probably what they're intending. They're like, we're not going to lock you into a certain traction material, and there's probably some competitors that like a slick butt stock for transitions to offhand shooting. But do I love the buttstock? No, I don't. But from a competition level, it's okay. This is your cheek piece right here. The problem is it is 100% aluminum, also milled out of 7075 is my understanding. It's going to transmit heat, it's going to transmit cold, and all the other things that I've ranted about over the years. No, I'm not in love with it. It's okay. It looks cool. It's different. And a lot of what this gun is doing is just about looking cool and being different. JP does it too, though. JP's a big competition brand. I've covered some JP stuff over the years. They're awesome. Great competitive offering to this gun. And we got a Hogue pistol grip right here. And we have a nickel boron coated bolt carrier group. Do I really want to break into this and show you? No. Maybe I'll roll in a photo or something. Maybe I won't. It's a high-end bolt carrier group, though. I really have no issues with it at all. It's fantastic. As you would expect from a high-end, either direct gas impingement or piston-driven AR. You would expect that. And I've covered those a lot over the years in various AR pattern rifle reviews. Fantastic. I mean, the build quality on this, I really can't fault anything. I look at it and like the fit and finish is tight. The upper and lowers, they do not move at all. It's just a really tight, high-end AR-15. How did it shoot? 100%, no jams of any kind. I'll get to the accuracy here in a second, but here's the deal. I don't know if you can even buy this rifle anymore, and so I did not shoot that many rounds through it. My usual protocol under COVID-19 Armageddon 2.0, about 400 rounds. If I really love a gun, maybe 500 rounds, and that's a lot of money, that's a lot of time, that's a lot of work. I didn't do that with this gun because I don't know if it's available. I went to the website again tonight, and here's what I see for their models. So they have a team model, they have a pro model, that's like their AR-15 pistol. They have the XL model, the Evolve model, the Edge model, pretty much all out of stock. The only two that I could see that you could add to cart and change it was the pro model, the pistol. No team was available, no XL, no Evolve, and no Edge. So basically you can't even buy this rifle from their website. I've been in this game a long time, and this is usually what happens when I see this, is a company is having troubles. Either having supplier troubles, or having ownership troubles, or they're on the brink of going out of business. In the past, other companies. I don't know about CK. I do know they experienced an ownership transition, I think it was in 2020, and they were promising everybody they were going to come back and start producing these guns. There is a fanboy club of CK AR-15s, and some guys were super happy. But judging from what I'm seeing on their website is like, it's not looking good. I mean, if you don't have an add to cart button there and you're talking about specifics, delivery times, and guys know during COVID, delivery times are extended. Guys are good with that. I just didn't see a way to order the rifle. So maybe your best bet, if you have fallen in love with this $4,000 rifle, is to just go search your dealer shelves and maybe you find one. Maybe you call up Handgun Haven, you buy this one. It's a good rifle. It's a really good rifle. It is. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you is their extended and multifaceted brass deflection plate right here in the billet receiver. So it's kind of interesting. They have some differently milled angles here. And on we go to accuracy. So again, I didn't do like 3 paper. Usually I have 3 or 4 papers I can bring to bunker. I don't. I have 1. Most of the shooting was at 100 yards. It was super windy. It was super hot. It's the summer of 2021. I said here the trigger's bad. I told you about my feelings on that. I didn't have a great rest. That's the thing. I had the polymer rest. I didn't have my lead sled, which is really a much better platform for max accuracy. So here we go. At 100 yards and 200 yards, the Cobalt Kinetics, I believe, Banff team. This was my result. That's a good group, up arrow. That one, for the expensiveness of the rifle, not too impressive. But remember my rest. So again, there are some other factors involved. This was at 200 yards though, bros. 200 yards, 200 yards. This is 77 grain match. This is 100 yard, 100 yard, 100 yard. So what I'm seeing here from this paper, from my shooting, is that this gun is easily one MOA capable. You saw those 200 yard shots. That, by the way, was not 200. That was 100. That really good group there. So it's as expected. It's super accurate, super reliable. It's smooth, very smooth. One thing I forgot to mention is it does have a what they call a pro buffer spring system in it. So they line the extension tube. I believe they line it with like hard polymer, and then they have some elastomer stuff in there, and it supposedly makes it smoother. The best one I've ever shot along those lines, again, is a JP silent captured spring, and they have Gen 2 out. It will add weight, although JP in the Gen 2 changed the rods to aluminum so it's lighter. But I have talked about those, and those things are phenomenal. You put a JP captured spring in your AR15, any AR15, it's smooth. You can't hear a spring twang, and it's meant for competition. So still look that up. If I find some links to the JP captured spring system, I'll put them below. They'll send you to Pro 2A Optics Planet if they have them. This one was smooth though. I didn't notice any twang. They do sell it separately if you love it. I don't think it's quite as technical and as evolved as a JP system. My two cents. Would I buy this gun? Would I buy it? Absolutely not. I would not buy this gun. Even at $2,000, I wouldn't. But I'm not a competitor. If I was a competitor and this is all I did, I didn't do TMP. All I do was run around doing 3-gun competitions. Maybe. And I see all these other guns breaking down in competition. I see the Cobalt Kinetics running, competition after competition. The answer could change. But for me and my money, and probably your money, the gun that we get is something like this. So this, again, is a POF Renegade. This is a Gen 4. And this gun is absolutely amazing. And POF continually upgrades their guns. But here's the difference on this. This is not a competition gun. This is a go-to-war AR-15. And my take on the POF product is that is primarily where its focus is. It's like for law enforcement without rule of law. They're giving you kind of competition capabilities in a much lighter platform. They have a very unusual heat sink that extracts heat at this portion of the barrel and the receiver. Very technical. This is their own dual wing charging handle. I mean, I've reviewed this and talked about it, raved about it so many times. It's getting kind of like a broken record. A record. It's that vinyl thing we used to listen to in the 70s. You kids don't know anything. 6 pounds, 12 ounces naked. As configured, I'm talking about everything you see on it. This Gen 4, 7 pounds, 15 ounces. Yeah, this is what I'd get. Is it as cool as that alien Klingon gun? No. It's not that cool, but I love it. I love it. It's awesome. It's got the MFT stock, so you have just very smart choices. And I didn't put this on. It came with it. I think this came with that. Very smart choices in how it's configured. This trigger I liked better than the Cobalt Kinetics. If you're asking, I'm telling you. And if I were to get a competition level gun, I would probably, and I'm being totally straight with you guys, I would go to JP. I would look through the JP AR15 catalog, see what's available. Maybe I can get a used one. Those things have outstanding reputations in the competition community. I've met, I think Jean Paul's his name. I met him personally at SHOT Show. He's a great guy, really focused, very passionate about what he does. And he also does not sit on a development. He's constantly evolving and improving his products. And a lot of his guns are half price of what this would be. JP is legit, and there's some others. But for second cool, this gun has it, and it does have performance. Does it have collectability and maintaining its value? That is very hard to say. I mean, I'm guessing that this was a $4,000 gun when it was first ordered. Now you see, I think HH, and don't hold him to that price. I think he's going to sell it for that price. It's going to go back to him tomorrow. It's a good gun, but is it my cup of tea? Probably not. There you go. Another evil AR15 review by Nut and Fancy. After all these years, we still review these very, very cool guns necessary for your systems. Oh, and I forgot to mention the knife for the review. I talked about the watch, right? Which apparently I don't have set correctly. Whatever. How about this? Have you seen this yet? Testing is complete, and it was very excellent in field. It's a Benchmade LeCoux. I think it's a 202 or 220. Total weight on this thing is 9 ounces. In this aftermarket sheath I bought, look at this sucker. Benchmade LeCoux, dude. This is why you don't want to spend $4,000 on your freaking AR-15, because you need money for this. Really good knife. It has kind of a Scandinavian influence. I wish the handle was a little bit longer. It's like a Santoprene handle. It's just really a nice knife. It's good to see Benchmade coming out with another good fixed blade that I personally can be excited about. And I did test this in field, and it did quite well. Stainless steel S30, I want to say. Watch for the tabletop. I'll talk about specifics and where I got this very bitchin' sheath for it. This is not the stock sheath. I got to sign off. I got more work to do. I got post-production to do. I have other things to do in my life. Be a donor. Be a donor. The reason I work my ass off for you guys is because money comes in to fund all of this. So be a donor. I appreciate you guys. I talk to you as often as I can in the donation environment. I do fight burnout, though. I have to uncheck from TMP once in a while. Otherwise, I cannot do it. This is a one-man show you're seeing. I have some help. That my sons don't do much at all. To be completely honest, they don't. You may see TD once in a while, but I basically have to twist his arm to come and help me, literally. It's just me. Be patient. I work very hard for you. Signing off after a very high-end Cobalt Kinetics AR-15 review, and I hope the company's doing well and it comes back. There's guys that love these. See ya.